Other than physical geography, there's another section that is human geography section, or is going to be called by the name of human geography. Now, physical geography, where it was centered on nature, it was centered on environment, it was centered on how the physical world actually behaves. Human geography is going to be centered on human beings. And how is it that the human beings function? How is it that the human beings are going to shape the earth? How is it that the human beings have been responsible, and so on and so forth? And that section comprises of one, of course, is going to be associated with population geography, settlement geography, economic geography, models and theories. These are the sections, and regional planning associated with it. Now, these are the sections that come under human geography section to give a broad classification of sorts. Now, having known that, what we are going to be doing is that we are going to be clubbing two sections together, population geography being one, and the second is going to be cultural setting, that is in the second paper. Now, the reason is that there are same topics. There are same topics in the first paper as well as in the second paper, except for the fact that there are going to be certain type of extra topics which are in the first paper. But by and large, there is a striking similarity between the first paper and the second paper, to such an extent that the second paper looks like an application of it. So, let's pick it up and let's begin with it. What exactly is population geography and cultural setting? I mean, we are going to be talking about population geography and cultural setting of both world as well as India. Now, the topic studies and understands three components. The first is the basics of population geography, that is, what exactly is demographic structure, what is fertility, what is mortality, and what are the trends in fertility, mortality, migration, and other things. Population distribution included in that. So, fertility, mortality, migration, population distribution, that goes on to be one component associated with it. That's one part. The second is associated with cultural setting is a social capital, religion, language. Imagine religion, language, and social capital. That's the second part. The third is going to be associated with the policies of the world, policies of India as well, in this case. Now, both of these places have these sections. And of course, the last is going to be associated with some type of modeling of population that may have been done by some people here or there. Now, as part of this as part of it, having known the four sections, that is, one is demography, the other is about population modeling, then the cultural aspects, and then the population policy. These are the components that make up the whole of population geography section. Now, understand it in even in a better manner. Now, this is one section. The nature of this section is that it is very descriptive. It's an extension of sociology. Demography itself is going to be an extension of sociology. So, whether you study sociology or whether you study this topic, it's the same. That's number one. Second is that while studying demography, you have to take recourse to a lot of data and the processing and interpretation of the data. That's the second component. The third component is associated with its analysis. Now, most of the students, what they do is that they go on to put some bare facts here. Now, facts can be put by anyone, but then analysis is something that cannot go on to be put by a lot of people, a lot of students also. So, you require analytical bent of mind, and when you have an analytical bent of mind, how is it that you can go to put your analysis that goes on to determine, that goes on to be one of the main determinants of how much marks you going to be getting it. And then some type of an empathy based approach, one type of an approach that helps you to understand certain things like religion, something like language, something like social capital, secularization. These are the sections. Of course, all of them are going to be in the first paper, but the glimpse of it can go on to be in the second paper as well. And so on. So that is going to be its second characteristic. The third characteristic is that these topics can go on to have enormous appendages, enormous linkages. Now, linkages can be population growth and development, population growth and agriculture, social capital and industrial structure, social capital and regional development, language and religion and bonding, and the role in the bonding of India. Then it can go on to be only one segment of a language, that is a Sapir-Simpson hypothesis, what exactly it is. Then other can go on to be how is it that perception and language are together. So you can think of a thing that even smallest of these topics can be picked up. So there may be a topic like, let's say, language. Now, I'll just going to explain it to you. When you're talking about language, then language means that, of course, there are going to be certain type of languages like that of English, Hindi, whatever you say. There are going to be some dialects as well in this case. Now, language and perception have a deep-seated meaning. Now, perception, that is the language, perception is driven by culture. For example, take the case of leg. In English, the meaning of leg is leg. But then in Hindi, it has at least some 10 different meanings. Pad, pad, par, lat. Imagine. And you can imagine all of these aspects, and it's a co-relationship with it all in all. Now, that is something that is evolving, and now because the entire of the syllabus and the colonial mindset is being freed from the clutches of the jihadis right now. And why we going to be saying it jihadis? Largely because not it doesn't going to be having communal overtone, but because the education ministers of India, all the way from 1947, from the partition of the country to its evolving independence right now. India was not independent even at that point of a time because its minds were controlled by a good number of people. So all of those education ministers were jihadi. They were all Muslim jihadists. And because they were Muslim jihadists, consequently, they framed the syllabus, they would draw certain facts in such a manner that will go on to make the other community think that they are weak, they are feeble, they are to be ruled, and they are to be beaten, they are to be killed, they are to be humiliated, they are going to be raped, and so on and so forth. This is the way that the syllabus has been framed, and the mindset also was going to be affected by that. Of course, nowhere it is written that is after having studied you should go on to follow all of these type of crimes. But then the seeding, above seeding was like that. So percept that is going to be culture that determines it. So a good number of aspects about culture is something that is not known to you at all. And that is the reason why we say jihadist. It was under British control, then it was under jihadist control, and both of them, that is the British and the jihadi, they controlled the entire of education. To such an extent that is if you pick up the stories that used to be narrated to you, narratives, that is what we are talking about, the stories that used to be said to you, ask your parents, they will go to say that the hero was maybe Shivaji. Even before, there was a hero that was going to be someone else. Now, in your case, who was made the hero? Now, there was a very weak and feeble girl who was white in color and who was flowing, who was he was an angel, and so on. And that, how is it that you have to behave? People have to behave like weak, feeble, and so on. And before that, all of those people were to be boisterous, and they have to do, they have to strengthen themselves for the purpose of safeguarding their dharma. Now that again goes into me. The word is dharma, and the English word is religion. Now, is it that both of them are the same? No, they are not. But then you have been taught. It's possible distinctly that you have been taught in a completely wrong manner. That is why we say language and perception, both of them are going to be dependent on each other to such an extent that take a case of Eskimo. Eskimos are likely to take a look at a blue coloration which we haven't seen. Of course, there is no way we can go to see it because we don't go to live in Arctic region at all. And because they have seen it, their blue is going to be different, their word, their expression of blue will be different, and our expression will be completely different. For us, it will be different. It may be Neil, it may be indigo, it may be Neela, it can be anything, and then and so on, so forth. And also red. Red was associated with revolution. It was associated with a lot of bloodshed that Indians had to follow in order to protect their dharma. And of course, they have been protecting themselves from the last 1,000 years from all of those terrorists who came. I mean, Mughals, and all of those people who attacked India incessantly. They have never been part of it, and forcibly converted people into Islam. Now, thereafter, they had a different type of a red, and that is the one type of a shaurya and purusharth that has been shown. So that is part of culture. Of course, all of these aspects now are proven, and a good number of people now know how is it that they have been fooled, how is it that they have been misled, and how is it that they have also been cheated. I repeat, cheated. I repeat the third time. They have been cheated in the last 70 years in the name of so-called economic growth by giving them some IITs, certain IIMs, but identity was completely shorn. They're made to be behaving like a servant who will go to earn money, but shorn of independence, shorn of security, shorn of any identity. So, of course, when you come to the study of all of these things, you will come to know of it as well. That is going to be the third aspect. It is very interrelative, very, very interrelative, every topic. Even if you're going to study population policy, it is going to be very interrelative. And interrelationship can go to be population geography, can be interrelated to economic geography, can be related to settlement geography, it can be related to growth, it can be related to agriculture, it can be related to industry, it can be related to resource utilization, it can be related to regional planning, or what not. That's the beauty of a human geography. And that's an advantage, but precisely that is also going to be a disadvantage as well. That is, if you're inclined to think in a linear manner, and most of you will be inclined to think in a linear manner because you have been you have been taught in a jihadi manner. And again, we're going to say it so largely because the syllabus of yours were framed by the six education ministers of India who were responsible for making this syllabus in such a manner that you will not go to think in the manner that I am talking about. And some of you may go to feel that why is it that I am talking in such a radical manner. It's not radical. You are radical. You are meek. You are feeble. You are shorn of personality. You are shorn of identity. You are shorn of knowledge. You are shorn of concept. You are devoid of identity. You are devoid of a thinking process. You are devoid of a analytical process. Largely because you have been trained in such a manner. I have not been trained in such a manner, and that's the basic difference. So, of course, the syllabus and other aspects now demands that you be Bharatiya, not exactly Indian. Indian are going to be completely different. Like all of you will be Indians, but you may not be Bharatiya at all in the true sense of the term. That is culture setting, and that is where we're going to be dealing with this topic as well. So these topics, wherever you have to express these things, you don't have to express it as blatantly as I have done it. So, of course, when it comes to syllabus, we'll go on to be shaping a different form so that anything that we're going to say is not going to be direct, it is going to be indirectly, but we're going to convey all of this meaning. That is going to be creating a difficulty for you. And of course, the questions that can be framed out of it, they can be comprising every type of a dimension. Imagine the diversity. One is, of course, is going to be sort of demography. Second is population, and anything can go on to happen with population. Anything happening with population in the whole of the world, population. The third is migration. The fourth is going to be problems of population and its policies. And then other is going to be theories. That is the basic nature of a population geography and cultural setting for India.
To have more such discussions and analysis, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for notifications on our upcoming videos.